We need to put some Holdo maneuvers.
This is where the fun begins.
Everyone? Yeah. Well, I blame that on Elon Musk because, well, he sucks. And second, because it told me as I was going live, it's like, oh, you need a premium account on Twitter because it's not. I'm not calling it something else to do live streams on there now since the last episode that we did. So I was like, nah, all right, well, that sucks because I already hit countdown. So welcome to the Holdo Maneuver Podcast, everybody.
Not on Twitter.
Yeah. Just on Facebook and YouTube. As with me per usual and as always is Mr. Michael J. Soren. And
I'm here.
Our buddy Stanford Clark is returning once again. And then Patrick Cotnoir is back with us once again as well. So welcome, you fine gentlemen, to this.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this. We're going to be talking about the Acolyte Season 1 finale. So, before we get started,
without much further ado,
yeah, I do have a question for you.
You have two questions.
Well, it's a two-part question. So, what is May and Osha's favorite boy band, and who will be the first to sing along?
Patrick's face immediately is disappointed. He knows the answer.
Hey, just say it.
And sync, you know, and it's gonna be May.
There.
Yep, he left.
Yep.
Good call, Patrick.
Thank you.
Yeah. I had to do it before, like, since this is the last opportunity to do it.
Had to.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I did. I did have to. Yeah, I had to. I mean, then Patrick said, then I had to say bye.
Oh, no.
I think you need a timeout, Mark.
Make it stop.
Hey. I blame my sister for
Blame
being,
whoever you want.
Yeah. I mean, now Kimar's just like all over Patrick's face.
There you go.
Stanford's just gone.
Yeah, there you go.
We're taken by the Acolyte.
Everyone kisses Kimar. Everyone does.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why
Yeah.
not?
If you get the opportunity, go for it.
Osha's holding his lightsaber. I mean, well, no, wait, what?
No.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, before we get into like really breaking down the episode, what was your all like overall thoughts and feelings, like encompassing takeaway from the Acolyte season finale?
Stanford, would you like to go?
Sure. Great to be on with you tonight. Thank you again for the invitation. And I found this series or season to be really thought-provoking. It's not necessarily something that I just thought, man, this is awesome. Other than some of the fighting scenes, which I thought were truly awesome. But I'm not a hater of it by any means. I just thought it just made me think a lot about his connections into, of course, just the overall Star Wars story and history and lore. I felt a lot of different emotions. I mean, I felt the kind of, I don't know if melancholy is the right word by the end of this, episode 8, but it was heavy. It was a lot. But I thought the series was really well crafted, really interesting storytelling. And I'm just excited to process it through more. I've been really looking forward to talking with you all about it. It's like, I just feel like I needed someone to really talk about it. So, I guess that's my initial take.
There you go.
How about you, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, I liked this season. I thought I enjoyed how different it was from everything else and how much it did feel like Star Wars, but also didn't feel like Star Wars. I think that's good, and I think we need more of that. I think stuff should feel different, and it's totally okay for that to happen. This episode got me really excited to see where it goes because I truly don't know where it goes, which is also very exciting for me. I don't think it ended in a way that I was like shocked by necessarily, but I do think that you could think that that's going to happen, but then I wasn't thinking about the implications of like, okay, now what is season 2? And I find that interesting and fascinating, and it feels like they're going to do another season. I would be surprised if they did not do another season at this point, especially based on those the streaming numbers that they kind of released a couple weeks ago, and how just they're holding on to viewers really well, which is a good thing for them. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really powerful, intense last episode, and it made me excited for the future.
Nice. I think I saw Leslie Headland said that she wanted to do at least 2, if not 3 seasons of the show. So hopefully they get to.
Well, yeah. Look, she could say she wants to do 20. It doesn't mean there's going to be 20 that happen.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure if the numbers were lower, based on all the hate and all that you saw, they wouldn't do it. I mean,
yes.
The fact that they released the numbers was basically just the middle finger to everyone saying how bad it was.
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
I enjoyed the season. I really did. It was like Sanford said, thought provoking. It was definitely more Star Wars esque than not, but as mentioned, different. We had different time. You had a different view of the Jedi, which has kind of been building for a couple years now. Like this view of the Jedi that they're not so wholesome. They're not as good as they are supposed to be. And then just the interesting dynamic, like having the Force be more of a shared thing instead of just only the Jedi can use the Force. Well, now you see these witches. Now you see Jedi. Now you see the Jedi kind of snuffing out other Force users in a way because they're not using it correctly. And that was just thought provoking and something that's been building. It's not like Acolyte was the first one to say the Jedi are awful. Yeah. They didn't really even say that. It was just mainly their political group, which we knew.
But I thought, sorry.
Timestamps. I think in our first episode talking about Acolyte, I did mention what the last scene was going to be.
Oh yeah.
So I'm calling that. I predicted that.
Oh, did you, Mike? Awesome.
I knew we mentioned when we were going to see that little green man, and I was like, it's going to be the last thing they do. They're going to walk into a room. He didn't do exactly what I said was going to happen, but they cut it off too soon. If the camera kept rolling, he would have done it.
He's a puppet again, just like he was in the original version of Phantom Menace.
He is, right?
Yeah.
It really looked like he was.
I think it's the puppet Yoda, yes.
Well, which is interesting though.
If they've got any balls at all, they will make it look like that Phantom Menace puppet. That's all. That's what I'm saying. Like, you really, if you're gonna do it, do it. You know.
Yoda's got Benjamin Button disease.
Yes.
He's got some kind of disease. I mean, all the other ones talk normal. Look at him.
I mean, once you're with Yaddle, awesome that's what happins.
If he talked in this and it was normal, and then like she told him what happened, and he was just like, and then just started talking all weird. Like his brain couldn't process it.
I guess maybe we'll find out in season 2.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
What's your take, Mark?
I enjoyed it for the most part. I think what's been kind of interesting is that it felt different enough while still feeling familiar, where like you're like, all right, here's the good guys, here's the bad guys, but then it also did a good job on kind of playing around with that too, whereas to I guess immediately jump to the end is that like who we thought like who was the bad guy, quote unquote, at the beginning of the season is now effectively the good guy at the end of this season, and who was the good guy at the beginning of the season is now effectively the bad guy. And I also kind of thought it was like brave in a way too, is that you basically killed off all of your characters minus outside minus Vernestra, who is more or less like a supporting character. And then
are you allowed to kill your wife in a show you make? Is that you allowed to do that?
Probably, maybe, I don't know. And then obviously May and Osha and Kimar. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. It's like, wow, they killed they Rogue One them. They killed off all of the main cast. I think overall I enjoyed the season as a whole there like that. But so like this episode is interesting too. So it basically picks up where the end of episode 6 left off, because episode 7 is essentially the
real flashback.
So telling May the backstory that's during that, and then Osha has a vision of May killing Saul without weapons, leading her and Kimar on a search, being observed by this dude just hanging out there in the cave there.
Just chilling in the cave. Yeah.
Just with his, like long gangly fingers hanging around the corner.
We don't know who he is. Don't lie.
I truly hope that they reveal in season 2 that it's Sand from the Separatists, because they're the same species. I hope they're like, no, you thought that was Plagueis. It's not Plagueis. It's Sand. And then you get to see everyone get disappointed over that. I would like that.
That'd be great.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of?
Yeah.
Not a Plagueis, but
not a Plagueis. Yeah.
Of Sand Hill of the banking clan. Yeah.
It's got a better.
He's just there to collect
ring
some taxes or something.
Yeah.
The Beatles.
Kamir's behind on his rent.
Needle drops. Yeah. That's like beachfront property. It's probably pretty steep in those credits. He's got to be paying for that.
Unknown planet.
He's got good OSHA compliance too. Just besides OSHA being there, he's got the fence, on the.
That's true.
So people can't fall in.
Yes. Yeah. Safety first.
Yeah. Just doing it up. And then yep. And as May escapes to Brendok and crashes, tension escalates from there with Jedi converging on the planet. So, like,
before we go on to that,
I was gonna say, like, we can kind of like break it down like a bit more.
Is everyone in Star Wars Galaxy born knowing how to fly a ship?
I know. It's like that's a good point, Mike.
It's like not just
sits down and just knows exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I always assumed they were probably fairly standard. How it's like you learn to drive one car, you can drive most cars. I feel like that's got to be what it is.
It's a fair point.
And as we've seen, they can fly themselves. You can be a chair and fly a ship.
That's true.
So
that's true. I almost forgot about those chair guys. Thank you so much for reminding me, though.
Yeah, those are the
face
best.
Hugger never came back either.
Droids. No, well,
yeah.
There's time.
Season 18.
There you go.
Season 18.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe like the kind of like best ways to like break it down are like maybe just do it like by characters with it. So like we have like the whole Vernestra's mission in this where she's like she finds out like where Saul is going in that, and what's the name of that the Padawan again? It's like Mog or it's
Mog. His name is Mog.
Mog. Yeah. Was it the Mog Squad, right? Yeah.
Yeah, as a member of the Mog Squad, I need to represent. Nice. Big fan, love him.
We got the Mog Squad, we got the Jackie Jam, we got the Yord Horde, The Soul Patrol.
Soul Patrol.
Yeah. Or the Soul Train. You know, there's a few things. Did Ordina have anything, or her name just doesn't rhyme with anything? Sort of like.
No.
Who?
I think it was like a
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Oh, yes.
Durna.
Yeah. I don't know.
She had her teardrop tattoos. That was she killed her squad.
Exactly.
It's Torben time, you know. So Yelnaka. I don't know. There's probably Yelnaka is greater than Chewbacca.
Oh,
not really. Not in this portrayal.
I mean, they're the same actor. Jonas has
true.
been both of them now. So
yeah.
So I guess what do we think about like Venestra's whole thing in this episode too, where her whole thing is basically getting another huge group of Jedi together after they got back from Kafar, and now they're going back
Operation Cover Up.
To go to Brendok. Now, do you think before she got to Brendok and saw all of what happened there, and because she also seems to have the Force ability where she has like the Force kind of, where she can kind of touch like the surrounding area.
She can see the history.
Yeah, and see the history. Like we've seen Ahsoka has kind of been able to channel into that. I think Ezra was able to do that. Yeah, Cal can do it. Yeah.
Cal can do it. Yeah.
So,
but is that a Force ability, or is that just, can anyone do that? Like, can any Force user do that as long as they like
driving a ship?
I thought it would be I mean, I assumed it was a Force thing. That's a really good question, Patrick.
I don't know.
Yeah, because we've
only
seen
Soul both got off the ship and did the same exact move. Close their eyes, take a breath, and then just like going off in direction. So
yeah, it just seems like they've been doing it a lot lately. You know, so for I don't know.
Instead of Force
as a new power, it just seems like a thing that they've been using a ton.
It's the new hip Force power. Everybody's doing it.
It was like for a while when you got stabbed in the gut, you were fine. They did that every show. Except
am I a joke to you?
He is. He just didn't want to come back. He was.
He came back.
Shit.
He came back. He was the one that taught everybody how to come back. Maybe that's just what he wanted to do. He's like, I'm gonna let myself die because I want to test out this ability that I've been learning about. I might not have another good chance, so I'm gonna do it this way right now. But like Vernestra goes there. She feels like all of the past events that have happened there. We find out also what everybody had kind of guessed as well too, is that she is seemingly Kamar's past master that he had. So it should be interesting to see.
And that revelation, it was kind of out of, character. It stuck out because of how Manny reacted. It felt like it was a scene from The Good Place in that character, not Kamir. Like his facial expression before he throws his helmet back on. It was. I wouldn't have thought him to be like afraid. It almost came off as like he was afraid.
Isn't the implication is that those things on his back are from her?
Yeah,
true.
From I feel like the whip lightsaber, right?
Yeah. I saw her, I may get a similar reaction to that.
True. I didn't think of that. I forgot about the whip lightsaber.
I think they also did the juxtaposition where I don't remember if it was exactly like a cut from one to the other, but it was like something about him either talking about like his former master like stabbed in the back, or it was the shot of his back and then it cut to Vernestra. And I mean, I
forgot about those back scars.
That was the only. I feel like that's the only reason they showed her use the lightsaber whip, because we only saw it used once to kill the bug.
That and money, budgetary.
Well, do what you got to do. Right. It's on the poster. Maybe she'll have to use it more in season 2.
I also don't think this show was hurting for money.
Yeah.
No.
From what I've seen on the budget, I think it's probably I think they're doing. I think it was like
allegedly 180 million budget. Yeah. So, but yeah, so like she gets there, she like runs through all those events. And we'll come back to it from the other points of view later. But she sees Solo's body lying there, and
immediately it's like your fault. This is all your fault right now.
I'm gonna pin this on the dead guy right here. And he killed him since he was the last one. How did you guys feel about that? Like, do you like she gave him like a Jedi like Viking pyre funeral, like out on the lake there, but then basically
threw his reputation under the bus, right?
And I mean, I think she knows. I think she's lying.
Yeah.
That seems to be the vibe. I don't think she's actually wholeheartedly believing. No. Yeah. Since that was what happened.
It's a cover up. And I don't remember. Yeah. I forgot who we had on, but when one of the previous episodes, one of our guests did mention that Sol was going to get blamed for it. So it was a theory out there.
Yeah, especially since he was the sole survivor of Kofar.
You might be getting timeout, Mark. You're getting close.
Hey, I mean, it's right there. I'm not going to
timeout.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's like kind of interesting too. And then she has like before they leave, she has that whole back and forth with the Martian Manhunter. There, yeah, because he wants a separation of church and state. He's like, you Jedi are like you're trying to do all this stuff. We don't want you to do that. You shouldn't be part of the government and be practicing the Jedi religion and making it a part of the thing there.
Yeah.
Where's this coming from?
It's like it's mirroring like art imitates life. But yeah, like I like I forgot what his name is, but I liked the actor. I watched Supergirl. I liked him as the Martian Manhunter on that, and I saw he had gotten cast like a while ago, and like I was like, when's he showing up? When's he showing up in this? And he shows up in this episode. But I saw like a tweet someone posted. Who's like, I agree with him that the Jedi need to lose their tax exemption status.
David Harewood.
Yeah, David Harewood. That's what his name is. But yeah, I thought he was great. I'm hoping again if there's a season 2 that maybe we'll get more with his character. I think that's like an interesting thing that they can kind of play with, especially since it is supposed to be like 100 years before Phantom Menace, and kind of see like how that all like plays into like where
part of me thought his like costuming it like looks so familiar. So at first I was like, who's he supposed to be in like another whatever? But I don't think he was supposed to be really anyone. I don't think he's appeared before.
Yeah,
but
I thought part of his...
I think he maybe in the books, because I feel like people were talking about him online like they knew who he was.
They know this character.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you read the books, leave a comment. Tell us who he is.
Yeah, if is he in one of those High Republic books or
most likely. A lot of this is High Republic stuff.
I thought his brooch that was on like
his brooch
kind of looked similar to the medals that like Han and Luke, but not Chewbacca.
Oh, interesting.
In A New Hope, it looked similar, but not like it wasn't like a 1-for-1 kind of thing.
Sure.
But I do hope there's more with that, because I like kind of like playing with that element within the show. What did you guys like think of that?
I mean, I do think it's fun that watching this made me go, ooh, I'm excited for all the Senate stuff in season 2. Like, it's sort of just unexpected, but I was like, yeah, sure, give me more of that. That's interesting, you know? And that scene and the scene of her talking to all the senators definitely did that for me.
Yeah. That was true. How about you, Sandra?
I thought it was really interesting too. And his costume kind of reminded me in a way like a Bail Organa, or something like that. I mean, just together, just like this kind of big long gown thing that very formal, and And yeah, cool actor, cool character. And I'm with you. Because initially I was thinking I was going to get like kind of the Senate stuff, but it was interesting. I thought it was good. It was compelling. And
before the prequels, where we got all the Senate stuff.
Well, yeah.
We got the Trade Federation in this season of the Acolyte too. So I mean, it's like
it just seems to me that if there were, and hopefully there's going to be a season 2, but it's really going to be hopefully about Vernestra and Kimar, right? Like what happened with that?
Yeah.
I did just look it up. He was not in any of the books. This is the only.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you, Patrick.
I looked it up. I got you.
Clear it up. Thank you. Mystery solved.
Yeah, that'll probably be like what I guess if they do like a mystery again, it'll maybe like be like more of the backstory to Vernestra and Kimar's kind of like past together. Because I know people were like wondering like how like Kimar like tied into like the Brendok stuff, which doesn't really seem like he does. Outside of like maybe like he eventually found May chilling out at that tree there. Yeah. Which
somehow they find each other. Like,
yeah, she's like I went to this tree and
it could be that.
I waited.
Because another question I was going to ask you guys was, did you get the sense that Vernestra knew about Brendok when she heard Sol was going there?
She made like a face.
She did. Yeah. There was some kind of reaction. I would not be surprised at all if she.
My thought is maybe after Sol got back with Osha and all that from this mission, that whole team, Vernestra and Kamir have to go there and get something they forgot, or they have to go finish the mission.
Sure.
And then
and then maybe that's where like Kimar finds
the whipping happens, and then they break off. And
I wonder if maybe that's like a backstory to like how Vernestra gets, I don't know, like car sick, more or less, in hyperspace, whereas maybe like maybe she will.
I think that is something in the books, because she is in the books.
Yeah.
Vernestra she's like a Padawan in the books, and I think that's established in like Light of the Jedi or something like that when she's first shown up. So I don't know if that would be the intro to it, but
because I was thinking maybe that was implying, since she said it was her head, that like maybe she had like a vision at one point, like while in hyperspace, of like Kimar like falling to the dark side or something like that, and like as a preventative measure, it basically became a self-fulfilling prophecy of her. Like basically like the thing with Luke and Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren, in Last Jedi, where like it shows you like the two different points of view of that, but it's like Luke thinks that he sees Ben Solo falling to the dark side, so he goes to take him out, but because of doing that, that's kind of what does it. So I thought maybe that could have been like what ends up being the backstory there. And then we see her go talk to Yoda at the end of this episode. So
what a guy.
So yeah, that would be probably season 2's opener, is them coming up with the rules of the Jedi Council now, that you get. There's always 2 there are. Can't train younglings after a certain age. Hard line in the sand now.
Yeah. So do we think that's how Yoda knows the always 2 there are rule, since that wouldn't have been like a readily known Sith thing?
But that's probably something that would come from
this.
this.
Does she know that? Yeah. Or maybe that's going to be something they learn.
Yeah.
It'd be something that if they find. Well,
maybe they find that out season 2.
It'll be something season 2, yeah.
Yoda just. Now I'm wondering if she's gonna tell him like the actually what happened with Saul and everything, so that
I think that was my initial thought, was he's gonna know the truth and then just be like, nope, this is what happened.
It's like, Yoda,
the lie.
Yoda just loves covering stuff up.
Yeah,
stop covering stuff up, Yoda. See what happens. You did it twice.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, look, if that happens, I can absolutely see a lot of those dorks getting mad online about that, being like, Yoda's better than that, and then not remembering that it's
not
in fact the
remembering.
opposite.
Yeah.
As famously not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to step into that too much, but I saw people were getting mad that they brought up hell in this episode.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So
did
stupid.
you
I missed
guys
that.
not see The Empire Strikes Back?
Did you
And
not
Hans-
see
Yeah.
It's New Hope? Uncle
Yeah.
Owen says it too.
Yeah.
So it's
he
like,
says hell. Yeah, New Hope.
stop it, guys.
Yeah,
Stop
they've
it.
said hell before in the
Yeah.
Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
They've said
They've
shit
even
in
said-
Star Wars universe.
Yeah, they have.
It's
Yeah.
so bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like,
And Andor.
And
They say
until
shit in Andor? I don't remember that.
They do.
Oh, wow.
And
They
it-
do.
That's fun.
and until O'Shea Jackson Jr. was told to stop saying it, dude was almost in the Star Wars universe too.
Oh, my God. Oh,
'Cause he
no.
kept-
Didn't
accent.
Ralph's wife have that inside information?
Or no, it wasn't
Really?
Ralph's wife. It was my friend Rob.
That's
Oh.
really, really funny.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that Vernestra, just one final note about Vernestra, though.
Mm.
I feel
Stanford on
like
mission.
she's a liar. I mean, she's,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
you know, I mean, no duh. We saw
Politician.
we saw her do it.
That's what she is.
And I don't feel like she's, I mean, we'll see what happens, right? But I would not expect her to tell the truth to Yoda.
That's sort of
Yeah.
where I am, too. I don't really think that she's going to be
No.
fully forthcoming.
I don't
with
think
that.
she's going
I
to
don't
be
know.
fully honest about it. You know, we'll see. We'll see what she does. She's going to crack that whip, that lightsaber whip.
Whip it good.
I'm going to see Yoda and Vernesta square off or flips.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, so like the other thing we had going on in this episode is Saul and May on the ship there. So now some of it was interesting in that too. What was the little dude's name again? The
Basil?
Basil?
Yeah, Basil.
Basil, the little
Yeah.
creature
No.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So like there's
Still
this whole
don't quite
confrontation-
understand why he hung around, but
Well, there's this whole confrontation there with Saul and May, and like she gets into like the drop ship and starts to like try to escape from there, and then like as Saul's like going after her, Basil like f's with the wiring, and I wasn't sure why he did that because it was like so into like
it was like
make like this isn't Osha, this is May, like, and
the
then
only thing I
then
can think of
he's trying
is
to
Saul
protect
was
her.
like had like the firing screen, like he was trying to lock her in. That's what
I thought he was going to blow up the ship, you know,
Mhm.
but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not.
I couldn't figure that
I'm
out
also
either.
not 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
it looked like he was trying to prevent him from shooting her down.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought initially, but yeah,
I mean, it's hard to convey intention with a character that chirps and whistles, and that's it. That doesn't mean they shouldn't find a way, but I could see that being something where they're like, well, this makes sense to us because we know why he's doing this, but then when you actually see it in practice, it doesn't necessarily. It's not as easy to figure out.
yeah,
you
good
know.
point.
Yeah,
And
because
Saul was on a mission during that flight scene, flying
Oh, yeah.
into
Yeah.
the rings, just destroying his own ship. And
Good
Yeah,
kid.
he was kind of crazed, I thought. I mean, and rightfully so, but still, yeah.
Yeah, I liked that whole sequence though there too. Just it was very, at least to me, like reminiscent visually to I remember what episode of Andor it was, but like where I think it was like the comet going over that one planet, like where Cassian like had to fly like the ship like through it, like and out through it.
Oh, yeah.
Like
wasn't it the ending?
it like visually reminded me like a lot of like that sequence from that. So I just like how they've been doing that a lot more, like in like the like more contemporary Star Wars, where there's a lot more atmospheric like ship like flights that we're seeing, like Force Awakens at all of like the X-wings like on the planet there.
Yeah.
We just have a lot more stuff. So I just like that we're getting a lot more of that, and it visually.
I mean,
looks
it's a lot more visually interesting than just another space flight. We've seen flights, we know what they look like, so why not switch it up? And every planet's going to look different. Which
There
is
you go.
great.
Yeah, and so like then they they crash on that planet, and like there's this whole basically sequence of like Saul trying to find May there, which is just it's like a bunch of him just like randomly May.
That's what you do.
Saul, do you think she's gonna come out?
She's I'm over here.
Yelling her name.
Marco Polo.
That feels common in that type of writing, not Star Wars writing, but that type of scene where someone's searching for someone and just have them yell their name.
Yeah.
Soul could have force walked and sped up his search, but why show that?
Nobody does that anymore. Remember?
Do you think they're ever going to show that again?
No.
Please.
I think they'll never say midichlorians again.
Yeah,
I think they will. I think they will absolutely say midichlorians again.
No.
I don't know if they'll do the speed up thing. I know they're really trying to make M count happen, and that's fine. I don't care. But it does feel like, Filoni or someone's going to sneak a midichlorians in there at some point.
It's like M count. What's that? Oh, it's midi.
What's the M stand? They'll have someone be like, M. What's M?
Stands for mace.
He'll be the one to say it.
That kid that got taken
Sam
out.
Jackson.
Not that mace. The other mace.
Oh,
the original mace. The real ones know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. It feels like a matter of time before they bring in Sindel, right?
Yeah.
The little girl. It feels like it's gonna happen.
Because those movies those movies take place before
they do. Yeah. Before Return of the Jedi.
There we go.
And then all those Ewoks conveniently forget how to speak English by the time Return of the Jedi comes around.
I mean, you hang out with Wilford Brimley long enough.
It's true. That's true.
And he just steals your porridge off the stove.
Diabetes.
I can see them having like an adult Sindel like in Mando. I can
100%.
see that being a thing. Like like Din finds out this person is the same at the end. There's like, oh, what's your name? And she's just like Sindel. Yeah. You're like, wow. Yeah. Although I guess maybe
she doesn't talk anymore.
Yeah, like a woman that just has like a blonde fro the entire time.
Yeah. You're like, she doesn't talk anymore. They killed her whole family in the forest. Mainly keeps to herself these days.
Wicked disowned her.
Yeah,
she got Wicked.
You keeps Teak with her. Teak's running around really fast. Yeah.
She got hit by Wilford Brimley. That's who the hell he is.
I mean, the Ewoks had human clothes. Like, they had to eat someone.
Yeah. I mean that implies that they did have a woman that was the size of Leia at one point there beforehand. So
true.
Yeah,
that's true.
They were gonna eat them before she came out there. So yeah. Yeah. We it's all fun and games to get eaten by an Ewok.
Hey.
And then it's really fun in games.
Yeah. And it turns into Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, May and Osha.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
I was like, what's the connection? And yeah.
She's rude.
Yeah.
So yeah, with Saul there, he's like, searching around the planet trying to find her. Does find her, and so this is kind of where like it converges with the Osha and Kimar storyline. So going back to the Osha and Kimar stuff, they're on whatever planet, because they still don't know what that planet is. Yeah, it's still unnamed planet. Leslie Hedberg, Headland. I don't know why. Headland.
Yeah,
I have Mitch Hedberg on.
It's not Mitch Hedberg. Yeah, it's not Mitch
I don't know
Hedberg.
why I had Mitch Hedberg in my mind. I think it's because I went about a lot of broken escalators today. But because escalators can only become stairs. Where she has that vision, and there's like, we only have one ship. So how are you gonna go? You're gonna take my ship, or am I gonna come with you? So I like how, for being like a bad guy, like he's just like very agreeable to her too.
Well, she possessed them, didn't she?
Well, yeah, but that whole sequence was interesting too,
Yeah.
because like it picks right back up after she puts on the helmet there in the end of episode 6 and starts breathing like Vader, and it seems like because of it being like that, like the like the essentially like the sensory deprivation tank helmet, it like super keys her into like the powers that technically that she didn't get from her mom, because like she didn't go through that whole ascension.
She had them.
Yeah,
they just, whatever that process was, didn't complete.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting too, because I initially thought maybe like something else was going on there, where it was like whoever Kimar's master is, who, I mean, we're pretty sure of possibly who it is.
Yoda.
Yeah, there you go. No, it's probably Yaddle. Because always two there are. That, like, we see Kimara like in that kind of taken over state that we saw Torben in, like, and from Torben's point of view too. So it seems like I want to see more with that, to see exactly what all that is with that there. What did you think about that? Like, Ash, like once you put the helmet on there, and like basically like that whole loop of events.
I mean, I think the sound design in that scene rules. I think it's like such a cool ending to an episode. I mean, it confirmed a lot of the suspicions, that I had, where I was like, they will probably swap, like, or they will both be bad. Like, I didn't know exactly how it was going to play out, but once that happened, you were like, oh yeah, this is absolutely the route it's going, and I'm 100% okay with that. That's great.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Michael. We're talking about the Acolyte.
Oh shit! I'm on the wrong show.
But yeah, no, I think the ending is so great, and then her coming back and like screaming and taking it off it was cool. It was a good opening too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, this show is fun. I like this show. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Leave me alone, guys. Leave me alone.
Right, back off.
Let people enjoy things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, don't watch it.
I know. Or keep watching it, because it's bringing the views up, and then they'll make more of it.
Like,
so
boost the numbers, right?
Yeah. It's only on you.
Yeah. I thought that was a cool scene too. Now, help me understand, guys. I think would Kimar's helmet be considered like a Sith helmet too? I mean, don't those? I thought somewhere I had heard someone talking about there's like, maybe I don't know if it was in a book or in the comics or something, but like it could give you like the Sith something extra, with it. And I'm sorry, I'm speaking out of pure ignorance. Other than I think it might be a thing, but still. That whole thing and how she takes over again, like the whole black eye possession thing. That's
which doesn't even seem like she was actively trying to do that.
It just she put the helmet on and this stuff just starts going, starts happening.
Yeah.
And it was compelling, I thought.
I know he said that the cortosis basically kind of similarly does something to like the same effect that Magneto's helmet does to Xavier in the X-Men films.
Blocks the thought.
Blocks the
like Juggernaut as well.
Yeah. And also, does the thing where he can headbutt lightsabers with it too. Which he didn't have the gauntlet, I noticed in the
he wasn't wearing his wrist.
Yeah.
He left in a rush.
Yeah. Do what you gotta do.
True.
But yeah, so like as they leave, we see what we presume was Darth Plagueis just chilling out there, his long dangly fingers just wrapping around the side of the cave there. And I was like, oh, cool, interesting. And then I thought maybe like we'd see. I was like, oh, I guess that was by the end of the episode. I was like, oh, I guess that was it.
Yeah,
because I thought maybe by the end of the episode, maybe someone else stepped up. It's like, no, he's just checking to
season 2.
See what was going on there.
That's how you get to season 2.
Exactly. I think that's fine. I saw someone online complaining, shocker, because they
What?
they were like, it should have been more like, anytime it starts like that, you're like, okay, so you just want the same thing over and over and over again, and
Right.
like just regurgitate versions of this. They were like, I wanted this to be Loki season 1 finale with Kang, and then he just talks and you're like, okay, but we already did that. Like, we saw that in Loki. Why do you need, like, make this something new? Make this something different. No one complained at the end of Avengers, when Thanos shows up. No one said, oh, I wish he had been in this movie more. It was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Something's coming in the future,
Yeah, if they even knew what Thanos was yet.
That's true, yeah. And I understand not enjoying the everything setting up something else, which I 100% agree with a lot of the time, but, like, this didn't bother me in any way because it wasn't setting up a different project. It was just setting up what's going to happen 3 episodes from now. You know what I mean?
Or whatever. Same story. I agree.
Yeah.
It was like a nice tease of like, oh, okay, he's there too.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes.
And also,
there's
like,
that guy and that guy.
And also, like, I know what I'm doing. Shut up. Let me tell my story. Like, it had a little bit of that too, in a way that's fine.
That's how I felt with the Kai Mundi stuff in this episode. I was like, see, that explains it.
It did not break anything because if you watch,
I know.
It's like, don't complain about something until the story is over because you don't know what you're complaining about.
Especially in a mystery, where it's just like,
I know, right?
You don't know everything yet.
That's like, part of the experience.
Yes, I know. People, the instant gratification of pop culture at this point has been too much for people, and I think it's broken a lot of people's brains in that way.
Frustrating.
I think binge model of dropping stuff has kind of ruined that. I know. I was gonna say I know that Mike likes binge stuff, but I
would have watched this whole thing straight through.
I mean, we know Adam that joined us last week to catch up did have to do that, and he said it played well that way.
See?
But there's like pros and cons to it.
Sure.
But I think at a certain point, like, because of that, it messes with you because, like, the ends of these episodes
right now.
Yeah, like, ends of episodes of shows always usually did kind of have like a thing that would make you want to come back to watch it next week.
But
that's you kept viewers.
You're figuring it out,
And also, like, I work in this industry, and I have a lot of friends who will work for 8 months on a TV show, and then it comes out in one day, and you're done watching it in 3 hours, and you're just like, hey, I liked your show. I'm gonna move on to the next thing now. And they're like, that was my whole year.
Yeah, that was
like,
my year.
I spent so much time on that, and you finished it in 3.5 hours or whatever. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. There's no water cooler. There's no this episode would not exist, if it was every single episode at once. Like, you don't get that time to, like, digest stuff and sit with stuff, and some people just don't like that. And
so,
that bums me out.
I do like, for Disney's streaming model, I do like that, at least with like the Marvel and Lucasfilm stuff, that they've now gone to the, releasing it at like 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m.
Right. Like, wait till, midnight or 1 a.m. or whatever, right?
So, wake up and you get spoiled by all
VPN
of, like,
is for. You just,
flash
forward.
We're not talking about.
That's
flash
interesting.
We're not talking about flash forward. That's a different TV.
I would love to talk about flash forward. I was at a Goodwill a couple weeks ago.
Yes,
and I found Flash Forward Part 1 on DVD. Whoa, and I was like, I'm never gonna find Part 2. And then I found out there was a full season, and I was like, well, I'll just buy the whole season then. I don't need to just buy Part 1.
That was a good show. I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because you mentioned like the streaming service, like binge watching and watching something someone worked 8 months on in 3 hours.
Yeah.
At Fan Fusion, we went and we were sitting in with Sabine there, Natasha, I forget her last name.
Lou Bordizzo.
Yes. Yeah. And she was talking about how they work on this show and then that's it. There's no premiere. and I just get to all the numbers are good. Yeah, but I don't see anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not like going to this premiere and seeing all these hordes of fans.
Yeah.
So that's what
for Ahsoka's
Ahsoka.
premiere, at least it was because of the writers
It was
and
COVID.
actors strike was going
The
on.
writers
No, it was
strike and all that,
writer
yeah.
actor strike.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So it's just like interesting that you bring that up, and that's how she felt too. It was just like I didn't get a premiere. I get told 50 bajillion people watch this. Okay, that means nothing.
Great.
I'm sitting in my house.
Yeah, and she didn't even do press for it, you know. So like she can't really talk about it. Like no one has that. Like, hey, we watched your show last night. Tell us more. You know, like that kind of thing doesn't exist when they're
like
in the middle of a
doing
strike.
the concert is probably like the first time like any of them have gotten to like sit and talk
That's
to
what she
people
said,
about the show.
Yeah.
This was the first.
They should have honestly.
all that.
Yeah, I mean, this is not how things work, but like they should have had them do interviews and stuff once things came back. You know what I mean? Like they should have had them doing stuff for StarWars.com and all that just to like at least try to keep that conversation going a little bit. But I feel like once that was done, they were already full on in like Bad Batch mode and Acolyte mode, and looking back doesn't really make sense from a PR standpoint, you know?
Yeah,
and I think that show did. I think that show did fine too. You know, I don't think they needed to, but it was a bummer because that is like it seems like a very fun cast. You know, everyone in that cast seems like they're entertaining. So it was a bummer that you missed out on all that.
Yeah, especially when you started seeing like all of like their behind the scenes photos that they were taking like on set.
Yeah,
with, like all of them hanging out. Especially because it would have been nice to hear like stories about Ray Stevenson too, like
totally
about that. And there wasn't really a place for them to do that.
Yeah,
because of it. But
I wonder. We haven't gotten we didn't get a making of thing, did we?
Not. Yeah, I don't think they've done one for because they did the Obi-Wan one. I don't think they did one for Ahsoka.
No.
Yeah. Huh.
They should. I like those a lot.
Yeah, those are interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they did do a Disney Gallery for Ahsoka.
They bailed on the art books too, and that makes me very sad.
Oh, yeah, they've only been doing it for Mando.
Yeah, and they haven't even done Mando season 3.
Yeah.
The bummer.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring the room down, guys.
Yeah, I know because I was trying to find an art book for not Acolyte. Yeah. For Andor.
Yeah.
Or for Obi-Wan because I was trying to find one for that one. Couldn't find. I mean, at least we're getting the physical 4K copies of like the Disney Plus shows. I know that I appreciate that just because
I do. Look. They're over there. You know, they're back there.
Yeah. Mine are right there next to the bad robot. He's protecting them.
That's good. Mine's next to Earl Sinclair from Dinosaurs. He's protecting them.
Nice.
So that's
Earl Sinclair.
No more depressive of a series finale ever than the series finale of Dinosaurs. We're all gonna die. All right, bye everybody.
That's great. I love it so much.
I used to. This is a weird tangent, but I used to equate dinosaurs was the dinosaur version of Family Matters.
Sure.
When I was a kid, it's like Carl is kind of Earl.
Yeah,
you know,
Urkel is very much baby.
Yeah. There's like an equivalent for each person in the family there.
That's really funny.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So. I guess getting back to
that. See something terrifying? There's a behind the scenes photo I saw where they like stripped the skin off of Earl to work on the animatronics. That was terrifying.
It's very sad. They have not to name drop you, whatever, but like I visited the Henson lot a couple months ago, and they have a lot of stuff that they've worked on throughout the years, and they just have like the skeleton heads there because all of the skin has like
it's like
turned to dust
around or whatever.
It's so sad. It's very, very sad.
Slimer kind of looks like that at ILM too.
Yeah,
you can see like the metal hinges and stuff in his face and so I don't remember where we were on Acolyte. So in Acolyte, like they leave non-named planet, they go to Brendok as well. So they all four of them converge on that planet. And I liked this whole sequence once. What?
I would say when they get there, Kamir and Osha, how does that elevator still work after 16 years of just
fixed it?
No maintenance.
Also,
I would not get in that thing.
He just kind of disappeared. Apparently,
that's your problem.
Yes, I would have gotten that goddamn elevator. Climb the wall, go around, figure something out.
Where did he go? Because he said that's what she said. You can either climb or use the elevator. And he's like, but do you? And then he wasn't there.
See, he climbed. He was smart.
Yeah.
He didn't trust that elevator.
She could just turn into she turn into the black smoke, I guess, maybe. Or no, because she didn't go through the convergence.
She didn't learn how to do that.
She didn't do that. She can't be Titus Welliver. All right, well, Titus Welliver also not in this episode, but anyway, so then we get the confrontation between between Sol and Kumar there, which is basically like, I liked this whole sequence too because a lot of the choreography there kind of reminded me a little bit, especially like in the tight like hallways, a little bit of like Revenge of the Sith with Obi-Wan and Anakin, like going through the different platforms. Some of the shots even felt like they matched.
Yes, they like matched the shot.
Yeah, and then
that was really cool.
What I liked to call crouching Jedi, hidden Sith, like because there's that shot like when they're both coming down and kind of like, you know, using the Force because we saw Kumar do
that movie.
I know what it's. I know it's got like a specific name for like that kind of like martial arts choreography. It's like Wishu or
exactly.
But yeah,
I don't know the name of it
because they did it in Shang-Chi as well too. But yeah, it begins with like a W or something like that. But I liked like that whole like their whole choreography in that fight sequence there, like with Kumar like pulling his like smaller saber apart and he was like throwing it around. Saul there, and you could just see like how masterful like Saul was with that too. Like he did that whole thing where he like stopped it as it was coming around, like pushed it out, and then like the choreography between them and this episode was there you go. Wusha,
thank you.
Where I just like that whole entire sequence with them in this I thought was amazing.
It was a good the fight sequences throughout this series have been
I think that's gonna stand out.
Great.
Mike,
yeah. It's also cool. I like that they actually shot a lot of this outside in like real places. Yes. I don't know how much of that set specifically was, but I do like that in some cases. I'm like, I don't know if this is outside. You know, I can't tell if this is real or fake, and I think that's good. But I assume that interior courtyard was probably a set. But I like that they actually did stuff. You know, much like Andor and whatever. Like you're like, oh yeah, this is like really outside. Those are real leaves. Those are whatever. You know. Yeah.
They ventured away from the volume.
Yeah. I mean, like the volume is like it does have its like
time. It has a purpose.
Like just use it together. Like use the volume here, use outside here, use a traditional set here. Mix it all together, and nobody knows which one's which.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that whole sequence with them was amazing. And then we talked about it a little bit, but like when Vernestra gets off the ship and her and Kumar can sense each other at the time, like Mike said, it's like, all right, peace out, bye guys.
Yeah.
And then so this is also before with this, like, well, this is all going on, like May and Osha, meet each other in their old bedroom there, and you see May kind of tell her the backstory, or attempt to tell her the backstory that Saul told her in episode 7. Just we didn't see him telling her it. And now,
well, she saw him kill.
Yeah, she was like, she was there and saw him kill their mom. So like between this sequence here and then when Osha then comes out there and May basically kind of has him, admit to it in front of Osha. What did you think of this whole sequence, like with Saul then, because he really didn't have any other choice at that point. But like then telling the truth to Osha, and like he was like,
cleansing his conscience is really all he was doing.
Well, if
he didn't
like,
have to, it was just.
It felt like he was still very stern on the fact that like what he thought he did with killing their mom was the right thing to do. Like he was like adamant.
That's
like,
his boy. He didn't do it for any other reason. He believed wholeheartedly that that's what needed to happen.
And I think the nice thing about this show is like I don't necessarily disagree with him in a lot of cases. You know, like you're like, I totally understand how that happened and he thought it was the right thing. But I also totally understand how those girls are like, what are you doing? You killed my mom, you know?
Yeah.
That scene felt like an inevitability, but not in a bad way. It was just like, I think his acting's really good in that last scene. I think I like that they built tension based on like you not knowing who's choking him necessarily. They don't show it for a while, and I think that's an interesting and fun choice. Even though you probably do know it, if you really think about it, you're like, it makes sense that this is happening. But yeah, no, I mean, I think he had to fess up to it at some point, or at least like acknowledge it at some point. Right. And it made sense that this was the time to do that.
Because he initially was gonna try and be like, say something else. They wrote it in where he's like, nope, just fuck it. I'm gonna say what it is.
Yeah.
Patrick, I'm really glad. Oh, go ahead, Mark, please.
Go ahead, Stanford.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
You're good.
I'm glad you brought it up, Patrick. I thought that is it Lee Jung Jae? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the actor's name
I'm not
correctly. Sure. I thought really his performance throughout was stellar.
The fact that he learned English in like 4 months or something like that
was a real standout. And because just how he emote, but that whole scene is just to kind of rip your heart out. But it just again, as you mentioned, Patrick, it just seemed like it was inevitable. Like how is he going to get out of this? I didn't think he was going to go face justice with the
which I thought that was interesting that like that was like the choice that she was making, is like she didn't want to kill him, she wanted him to have to go through like through the proper channels. But maybe his case would have gotten thrown out. Maybe like the Supreme Justices on the Senate and on Coruscant would have been like, nah, he's immune. He can do he can do whatever. He can do whatever he wants. He's got absolute power. He can do whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
He wasn't really that high ranking of a Jedi.
Yeah. And the attack on his life is
I thought
deformed and
I thought for sure we were gonna see Venestra take out Soul or something when he tries to confess. Be like, nope, this is cover up, full blown. Like he did it. I killed him. I didn't expect what we got. Yeah.
And I did like their like as Osha is, force choking him to death, that he is trying to comfort her at the same time and says that it's okay and that he was sorry at the same time. So I was like, even when this dude's getting killed by her, he's like trying to comfort her at the same time.
I know it just kind of rips your heart out. That was
That'll be one of the biggest bummers about season 2 is that like unless they have more flashbacks of Saul's, that like that's it for Saul. Yeah, no more.
Well, Osha can reflect on her training.
Yeah, I guess so. And then we get the the young Saul wig. Not
right.
His older
not
Saul
the shoulder length hair.
He can be the first Force Ghost. He can be the one who learned.
I know, like Force Ghost.
And then so like this is the first like live action representation that we get of like bleeding a lightsaber crystal too. So the lightsaber, his lightsaber that gets broken. I think it was with the fight with Kimar. I know Kimar's lightsaber gets like sliced in half.
He slices it in half.
Yeah, but then like his also gets broken there. So that's kind of like a nice little poetic thing too that she ends up with her former master's saber.
Oh, he was.
And I like how you see like the red travel up the
Take
saber
over.
like that. Yeah, that was a cool visual thing, which I thought was funny only because it made me think of like the lightsabers that you can buy at like Disneyland or Disney.
I know,
World, where like they change color and it does like that same
the kyber crystal.
Yeah,
You got to
like,
promote the merch somehow.
it's like, see guys, look,
yeah,
you can do it here too. You can change it. Like, you blend your,
You're gonna be able to buy
your kyber crystal.
hip droids. All that.
Yes, the hip droids.
Yeah, the pip droids need to be at the droid factory there at Baku.
I'm sure by August they will be there.
They will be there.
But they still don't have any B2 emos though, so
But those boys are big. Those are big boys.
yeah.
These
I
guys,
regret I did not buy the
Yeah.
figurine of B2 Emo when I had it in my
You
hand.
should have.
yeah.
Did they have Leia's?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
I know you could just like buy it as like a thing.
There is I don't know if they have it there. I don't think they do, but you can. There's a company that makes them.
Okay. Well, and then like in this scene too, I thought it was interesting that like Kimura looks like he's trying to like comfort Osha too, like after she kills Saul there, which is like, which again, it's like blurring all these lines between like what's a good guy, what's a bad guy, like, and like this is also the guy that like snapped Yord's neck a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
Like Swiss cheesed Jackie. And we're like,
it's kind of playing into
like,
the gray Jedi.
Yeah, it's like, do we like him now?
Yeah.
Is it just because it's Manny Jacinto looking like Manny Jacinto is that we like him now?
I mean, you like Anakin / Darth Vader, and he hacked a room full of younglings up.
I mean,
twice.
That's a good point.
I mean,
Twice.
but we saw him as a good guy first. We've only ever seen Kimura.
Was 9-year-old Anakin a good guy? He kind of had a smart mouth on him.
Look, let me put an end to
That's
this.
a 9-year-old. That's what 9-year-olds are.
You can buy an interactive Lola on Amazon for $17. Okay, everyone. That's all. We got to bring the heat in the room down, and just
Patrick's just getting it done. He's like, solving all the problems.
And just so people know, so that's not out of context. That is Leia's droid. That's not. That's not an interactive thing called Lola that you can buy online.
Yes. No.
That we know of. We don't know what he's looking at.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's Prime Day. That's all he's doing is shopping.
It's Prime Day. Today's the day. If you're gonna buy Lola, buy it today, guys.
This is the day.
A totally normal company. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, the other thing too is that we had to know that Osha was gonna break bad in this episode because she already had that hoodie on. She had the hood up.
She had the blue crystal too.
Yeah, but she had the but she had the hood up already, so it's like, oh, yeah, she got the gray hoodie on. She's got it up.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna be bad by the end of this episode because May was wearing white. So. Yeah, I mean it was off white. It was dirty because dirty. she's had past sins that she's got to pay for still. So
she crashed her spaceship. You get a little dirty when you crash your spaceship.
You do what you got to do.
It's bound to happen.
Is it? Refresh my memory if there is such thing. This whole mind erase thing.
Did you do that on purpose? Refresh your memory, and then you're asking a question about mind erasing.
What's I thought it was again interesting. Thought provoking. What's your take? And that's been done before, hasn't it?
I don't recall it being.
I don't know. I don't know. I gotta talk to the pros here. I don't know.
Kamir,
give me a second.
I mean, I feel like
didn't mention it.
Kamir should have just done Superman rules and just kissed her to make her forget. Because that's a power.
There's obviously the droids get their minds wiped. Doesn't Bor Gullet? Right. Isn't that Bor Gullet's whole thing? Is that he? In Rogue One? I guess he says
no. That's almost
your
like
mind.
It's like a truth serum thing.
Yeah.
The first mention I off the top of my head is from like episode 3 of this show where Kamir's like, "You guys gonna do that Jedi mind wipe thing on me now?" Or which foreshadowing to him doing it.
Yeah.
You seem pretty good.
I'm sure.
And I'm done.
I've always wondered what they do with the youngling flunk outs.
Oh.
Like,
well, I mean, you were talking about Anakin.
Oh wait, it happens in Mando. It happens in Mando.
Okay, see,
with oh my God, what's his name? The Doctor Pershing.
Oh, wait,
in that Pershing standalone episode, remember they like put him on the table and
yeah,
they didn't do it with the Force.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, right. They just did it by like basically
like lobotomy,
shocking the shit out of him.
And now you know why they're called Lobot.
Okay, so it wasn't so it wasn't a Force thing, but
maybe in the books.
I mean, it was a forced
result. The Wikipedia
it was a forced thing.
Yeah. Wikipedia says it happens a lot, and there's like 5 mentions in High Republic books.
Oh, okay,
it's like something that has been going on in High Republic that they are bringing into this.
Nice. Yeah. And then so then at the end of this episode, Kumar and Osha, standing on the beach, holding hands, looking at the sunset, sharing a lightsaber.
As their planet blows up.
Yeah.
Oh wait, wrong movie.
Maybe Darth Plagueis is just still in that cave. He's like,
he's probably cooking him hot dogs.
He's just checking him out,
making him dinner.
Yeah.
This is bad though. I saw a tweet where Plagueis is like, oh man, the training between Osha and Kumar must be going really well. All I hear is a lot of clapping.
Exactly. I mean, they're
Oh,
telling it
no.
out.
I was like, oh my. Oh wow! All right.
I mean, I feel like they still. I thought they were going to do it this season. Maybe they're saving it and won't do it at all. Who knows? They were going to make the two bodies of May and Osha come back to one person.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Well, because they also have that conversation as they're doing like their sing-song rhyme things. Like, oh, I thought you made that up. I thought you made that up.
Mm-hmm.
Who taught us that?
Yeah.
I thought your mom taught you guys
and
that.
We still don't know where the other mother is with the spikes and the long hair.
That's true.
Oh, that's true, Mike. She's
chilling out in
Dathomir.
She's chilling out in Dathomir.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think I did see that somewhere that they did that. Leslie Headland did say that she was like Coral specifically was a night witch from Dathomir.
Oh wow! Okay,
was just in a relationship with the mom there on Brendok. So
sure,
happens
as you do, which is
look. One of the nice things about Leslie is that I feel like in interviews she's very direct and is very like, here's this. There you go. You know, like it's a very much a breath of fresh air from a lot of the other people who are, running shows.
It's true. So I think that does for season 1 of The Acolyte. We've kind of talked about
it. The final scene of her walking in and Yoda's ears appearing.
Were they wiggling though? His ears
they
have
moved.
to wiggle.
They definitely moved. I don't know if I'd call it a wiggle, but
you know why they did that scene that way, so they didn't have to pay Frank Oz yet.
Right. All they had to do was move the ear.
They didn't even have to pay a puppeteer. They also didn't have to pay a puppeteer at all, too, because they could have just
put him on a broomstick.
Put him on like a thing. Someone just flick the ears before the shot starts, so they're still moving just enough. There you go.
But then, isn't that guy technically a puppeteer?
That's true.
Good point.
Where do we stop here? It's got to start somewhere.
They probably made a PA.
They turned the fan on and had the wind blowing his ears.
But then, isn't the man who turned the fan on technically a puppeteer? He's
a fanist. He's a fanist.
They just played Master of Puppets by Metallica really loud, so the vibration made the ears do it, and so by that effect, Metallica was
Lars Ulrich is
he wouldn't be demanding money or anything.
There we go.
He'd be like, I want money from Master. But yeah, we're like, what do you all want to see in a season 2 that we haven't really talked about? Should there be a season 2? Like, what's on your wish list?
There better be.
For the one absolute thing that needs to happen in a season 2 of this show.
I mean, I just like seeing how the universe is at that point. You know, like I liked seeing all those senators' costumes and just like what their vibe is and how different the Jedi Temple is at this. But I just like those little details, and that world building that they're doing, because you know not everyone is reading the High Republic stuff. You know, God knows I'm very guilty of that. I've read a handful of them, and I'm maybe like 5 or 6 in on like the audiobooks. But a lot of it does feel new to me, just because I don't know what's going on there. So I like the world building. I like the seeing new creatures, new planets, stuff like that. I think that's fun. We've talked about a lot of the stuff that I want to see. I want to see Oppo Rancisis. That's what I want to see. One of my favorite Jedi, little snake man with a big beard.
From Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
But he's also in the Jedi Council in 1.
Oh yeah, he's in Fan too.
Yeah.
Give me that
like
guy.
Those little those long twirly. Yeah, okay. I know you're talking about.
Cool dude. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. They did appropriately, I think. Yeah, today after Acolyte ended, they did release a new trailer for the next season of the it's like the preschool aimed Star Wars show, but the Young Jedi Adventure,
Young Jedi
which is also in the High Republic. So I was like, oh, I see how you did that. You timed it. Your one High Republic show ends.
I know.
You're like, oh,
here you go.
Your kids can watch this.
One.
Yeah, go spend time with your kids now, since you didn't let them watch this.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say. Yeah.
Here's baby Master Soul. Yeah.
Here's baby Vernestra.
Yeah.
Here's baby Kelnaka.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thought of Jackie, because she was too young already.
Yeah.
How about you, Stanford?
Full adult Kiadi Mundi, though.
Yeah.
See, yes,
Full
yes.
adult.
Just all the stuff we've been talking about. I'm really interested in having more exploration about these different relationships, particularly between Vernestra and Kimar. Anxious to see what's going to happen with Osha and May, and there's a whole lot of stuff I think that could be done. It's just such an interesting show. Really cool exploration of Star Wars themes and lore that I enjoyed it, and I'm anxious for more. Hope we get some more.
Nice. How about you, Mike?
I want this to just keep this continued story. Don't change really a thing. I want to see that cover up full blown, trying to keep that going. I want to see the training, and then somehow they get May her memory back, or somehow she gets it back. I think that'd be an interesting twist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to see Pelagus really doing anything. Maybe, I don't know. I think that was a nice little, there he is, but maybe we don't need more of him.
Yeah.
Just keep the story to what we already know. Not try to fulfill.
Because we already know what kind of happens with him and Sheev.
Right.
I mean, but we don't. Or
at least we know it from what Sheev told us.
Yeah. And anything else that we know is not canon or real.
Sheev, notoriously trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Famously a truth teller.
Yeah. So he's always telling us, when he says something, it's like, I can believe that guy. He tells the truth. Yeah, I think I second what all of you have said too, and then because I think I'm very curious, because I know originally the show was billed as a show from the Sith perspective, which I guess they kind of buried the lead there, that oh, it was, but you didn't know that by the end of the show that yes, your main character became a bad guy.
And so what's the title? What's the title of the series?
Yeah. And I guess technically, and I guess this episode title was The Acolyte, because at least when I watched it, it didn't have an episode title on it. Yeah, it was just episode 8.
It does now.
But yeah, I guess now it's just called The Acolyte. So that's not confusing. It's like, what episode did you watch? I watched The Acolyte. I watched the episode of The Acolyte called The Acolyte. But yeah, I would like to. I definitely want to see more with like what happens with Kimar and Osha there, and then I guess like on the flip side of that, with what's going to happen with Vernestra, cover up with Yoda and May, what all that will ensue, and hopefully more stuff with David Harewood there too, because I like the little bit that we did.
She's going to have to perpetuate the cover up and somehow get them to agree to bring May on to do something.
Yeah,
I think that dynamic will be interesting.
I agree. But with that, where can people find you online, Patrick?
You can find me online. Yeah, IG at Cotnoir, Twitter at Patrick Cotnoir. I when I was just on, but I can plug those things again. Yeah. George Lucas Talk Show is a show that I produce and co-host. You can find it all on YouTube. Comedian Connor Ratliff plays George Lucas, and we interview real people. Seth Meyers, Ahmed Best, Whoopi Goldberg. Insane people have been on the show. Go check it out. There's a documentary about the show right now that's out called I'm George Lucas, a Connor Ratliff story. You can go to I'mGeorgeLucas.com and watch it. The Naboo movie, which is a live read of The Phantom Menace that we did with a bunch of very famous people in LA. You can watch that at NabooMovie.com. And August 10th at Dynasty Typewriter in LA, there are tickets for in-person or streaming for the Great Kamino Kaper, which is our live reading of Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. The cast is insane. It'll be announced very soon. You can watch it from home or come out and hang out in person. It'll be fun.
Nice.
That's it.
Very cool.
You're not busy or anything.
I know,
no,
right?
Not at all. No, I haven't slept in a month, but it's okay.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
What is sleep?
No, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's okay.
And then Stanford, where can people find you online?
I've got a movie podcast. You can find it at moviespastandpresent.com, and you can also find me on Instagram. My feed is at moviespap, as in past and present.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And I'm also on X. It's at Stanford Clark, but that's that's kind of boring. Twitter.
Yeah, we're not talking about Elon Musk. He left over our live show on Twitter tonight.
That's right.
You got to pay for the blue check mark.
Right. Yeah.
Elon Musk sucks. There's a reason why his last name rhymes with sucks. Because
get your cousin there. Oh, no, he doesn't work for him anymore. Can he just get you the blue check mark?
And I don't want. Yeah, I don't want to go into that too much because he probably did. He did used to work there. He didn't come back when he was asked to as part of those group of people to come back.
Good for him.
Because he's smart.
Good for him.
Yeah, because he's smart.
Yes.
Yeah. And then for us, you can find us at holdomaneuver.com. And if you can't spell that like Mike can't,
I can't.
You can go to holdopod.com because that's easier and less letters for you.
I went to public school. I can't spell it. Sorry.
Yeah. And then this banner also covers up Kimar a little bit. It's one of his nips still
Sensors.
hanging out there. And I mean, I feel like you have an in to get Manny into one of your live reading.
That's true.
So yeah,
we'll see what happens. Yeah, we got 7. We have 7 more, so we have plenty of time.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's plenty of good parts for him to play too. But yeah, so we thank you, Stanford, for coming back. Thank you, Patrick, for coming back. And
yes, thank you very much.
As always, we are grateful to George Lucas for creating the Star Wars universe.
Oh my, thank the maker.
Bye, everybody.